Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Well, it's been quite a year of virtual music making, and we thought we'd have a huge audience today, but we have the most important people, small but important. But we hopefully have a great live stream audience, and we're so happy to have the first event be somebody who's very important to Ravinia and to the Staines Music Institute and to me personally. Maestro Conlon has been a big supporter and advocate of young singers and developing young singers, and he's always given so much of his time here, besides being the music director at Ravinia in the past. So we're so happy that he's back visiting to conduct and to work with our young singers, and I know everybody's going to have a lot to learn and will enjoy everything that he has to say. His love of music and text is unique, and I think he has a unique perspective on so much repertoire, so I know everybody's going to have a great time today. And for those on the live stream, I invite you to see our first concert, which will be streamed virtually on August 8th at 3 o'clock, and we'll have a few more after that. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome Maestro James Conlon.
Hi, everybody. Thank you. Thank you to Kevin for the invitation. So I'll take this off because I'm more than 6 feet. Don't worry, I am vaccinated. Not that that means much these days. And I'll be very careful with all of you and take good care not to get too close. So not this year because it's COVID. Usually I have a big audience, and I address a lot of my remarks to the audience as well as to you or to who's ever singing, as a generalized way to show people what some of the things, at least I do in a teaching situation, but also in a rehearsal situation, depending on how the singer, what they need, how big or small their egos are, how famous they are, how all of you have to take all of that into consideration. But I try to gear everything always toward whom I'm addressing. So I will address a lot of things to you, even though you may not be singing today. And some of the things I'm doing with the singers are as much about trying to communicate ideas to you as they are about the individuals, okay? I got all these songs late last night. Some of them I don't know, which is going to be interesting for me because I prefer to help you with things I know, but there's always first impressions and first hearings. So let's get started. And I think you probably know all of your colleagues, but Brittany and Kseniia, please come in and make yourselves at home. Okay, Brittany and Kseniia. So I just said I will keep a good distance here, even though I've been vaccinated twice. But I will keep a good distance from you just to make sure everybody's safe. And as I was explaining to your colleagues, some of these, I received all this late last night, and a few songs here I don't know, so I may be less helpful to you, but I'll be very happy to hear you. And the first one is Gordon's My People. So I'm very happy to, if you're gonna sing that for me, and I'll get to know it. So, Brittany, I have absolutely nothing to tell you. This is perfectly sung. You have a beautiful voice, stunning. It fits you beautifully. I have nothing to say except that I'm a fan already of you and your voice and this song, which is wonderful. And so you're not going to learn a lot from me right now, but I am grateful to you for familiarizing me with this. I have two tiny. They're requests. I'm not even saying they're right. At the end of the first verse, I guess you'd call it, from about 26, your last, and this is just to see if you can do it. Mm-hmm. It's not so much to say it's the right thing to do. I'd like to see also are the souls of my people without a breath. Okay. Both times. And that's number one. Let's do that. Okay. Okay. You can just, why don't you start at bar 23, Kseniia, that's 23, beautiful, where the key change is. That's what I want to say. So just see if you can dose your breath going out, so that you finish with more to spare. Because one of the beauties of a good phrase is the end. We remember the phrase how it ends. A good thing to remember when you're, if any of you get up there and get to bellow opera arias, you'll notice one of the cliches, and a bad thing to do is to hold it as long as you can. Tenors are particularly culpable in this area, but hold it as long as you can and finish with your gasp or something to show that you've had emotion. This is like really old hat. It's not interesting, but it is done. I say, remember that less is more. Yes. Better not to hold something too long than to outlast your ability to project not just the note, not just the high note, but to get all the way to the end of the phrase and be intact at the end of the phrase, so we don't say, oh, that last note, oh, yeah, she weakened there, oh, that sort of ran out. And to have something left to give atmosphere after the last note. See if you can incorporate all of that. I just need you from the second beautiful, the one that starts on the A flat. Good. And you can do more. I think you can do more. Really support and really measure your breath going out. Okay. Okay? Beautiful. Okay. Good thing to practice? Yeah. Are you sorry I asked?
No.
Okay. Now, can you do the same thing at the end? It's 9 bars before the end or so. It's the parallel passage at the end. Yeah. Okay. That's good. That's maybe easier because it's not so low. Yeah. Not sure. Yeah, okay. So, and you calculate how long you want to hold the fermata by how much you know you have to end the phrase well. Now, the very last phrase, and this is for Kseniia as well, in my mind, stopped dry. Remember, the music does not end when you take your hands from the keyboard or the pedal or when you stop emitting sound. The music has a halo around it, depending on the type of ending it is. And this certainly is one that you want to float out. So show me how you can both show me some continuance of that feeling as you finish. Yeah, that's great. Yes. Hold me. Hold us there. Hold us in your grasp. Don't let them go.
Okay.
All right? And especially because this floats away with a very ambiguous chord, floats into the sky. Go see how far, how long both of you can keep it.
Okay.
No. It's not about your singing.
Okay.
It's you.
Staying
What you
in it.
do, yes, when you're
Okay.
finished, you're done with it. Don't look over here.
Okay.
When I think I've had it, I'll let you know.
Okay.
I want to see how long you can stretch that moment for everybody out there.
Okay.
Getting embarrassed. I see it tugging at your lips. Okay. I don't know if you meditate or not. I'm an amateur meditator. My wife's a great meditator. Make it a meditative moment. Stay there. See how much magnetism the moment has for everybody out there. Okay? Great. One last little tiny thing. And I don't say that this is correct. I want you to, if you can, just sing me the first phrase or two of the piece. I know what I want. I want you to do my beautiful also are the souls of people. The second one, souls of my people. Do that, but I want everything pianissimo. I'm not saying it's right. I just want to see how small and concentrated you can make your top.
Okay.
All right? Excellent. Can you go to bar 25? That's beautiful on the A flat that we did before. Okay. Just want to say, I'm not experimenting. This song is perfect, but I want to see how far can you go. Can you really float something?
Okay.
But no swelling.
Okay.
We're making an exercise of this. Just. Excellent. Okay, we're ready for Korngold.
Yes.
All right. Okay. You're going to have to float some stuff here, so.
weiß ich sie noch?
So that you stay unified with the music the whole way. Hold us, keep it there. Okay, very good. Very good. Did I make you nervous? A little bit. All right. Okay, so that's great. I reiterate, your voice is a gift from God. And you sing beautifully, and you're in tune a lot. I like that very much. And it's just lots of great things. So I'm going to say two things over. I'm going to just make in the interest of time, a lot about the German diction. Important. Yes. Do not underestimate addiction. Not just saying that because my wife's here. In America, I mean, I know that we're from all over the world here, but in America, opera companies and a lot of places are not insistent enough on diction. Why? Because our audiences don't know the difference. That's a terrible thing to say, but except for the professionals in it, they don't. That's a shame. Because not just good diction, which means being understood, but the idiomatic use of the language is integral to the success of your musical presentation. So that's why I'm very insistent on it in many ways. Do everything you can. You've got about five or six languages that you will encounter. Some of them some of you will have grown up with some of them, some of you will have not, but you cannot avoid Italian, German, French, Russian, or any Slavic language, and you have to be able to sing in English and American. And you can throw Spanish in if you want. Who am I leaving out? Please don't be offended. Grieg, I gather somebody's Norwegian here, but the use of that language, and it never ends. It's something we have to spend our lives with. Why? Because if you're singing, unless you've learned a language before you're 12, you will always have some accent, and so that's part of your. And it's fun, by the way. It really is fun. It is. Okay. Now, and I want to say one thing to Kseniia. So when you practice this and perform this, I want you to listen. Go on YouTube and find a bunch of recordings. I want you to listen to the orchestra because I want you to be less pianistic and more imitating and trying to, as if you could reduce the orchestra onto your keyboard. And for those of you also there who are participating artists, I think you have a new name now. They used to call you pianists, but participating artists. If you get hired in an opera company to play rehearsals, it's not so important to play every note. It's not a pianistic exercise. It is important to give the singers, conductor, even the stage director, an approximation of what it sounds like with an orchestra. So rearrange, not here, because this is of course, it's written as a concert piece, to be sung in concert. But what we really want you to do is to sound like an orchestra, more than show your pianistic skills, which are fabulous. Now, here are the few small things, and I'll just run them through on you. So ends of words. I am dissatisfied with the clarity of consonants at the end, which German demands more than other languages. Now, it does not mean break the phrase. It does not mean break your legato. It does not mean it's not at the cost of any other musical element, but it just needs to be clearer. So if I say Glück, that's a lazy K.
Yeah.
It's got to be Glück.
Glück.
Yes. Singt.
Singt.
Harder because it's higher in that particular case. Okay? What else did I write down here? Lieb.
Lieb.
It's a P. Say it.
Lieb.
Don't apologize. Okay? Muss.
Muss.
A nice S. Now, S's are hard because they're unvoiced, right? And you can't sing a sound on them, so it's a delicate art. Muss. Yeah, you don't want to hiss too long.
Okay.
I mean, I don't think so. Muss.
Muss.
Yeah. Now, everybody has problem with ich. We all do.
Ich.
Pretty good, pretty good. First of all, it's also unvoiced. You can't sing really, right? So it's a compromise. Now, having spent many years in Germany and having had to hire some Americans to come there and sing Wagner and things like that because they had the voices, I had one colleague whom I loved and brought him back all the time, and my head coach, who just passed away at the age of 95, used to fulminate at him. And he would say, "Ich," and she'd have a fit. And of course, she was right. She was from Dresden. And she had a fit, and she says, "No, it's not ich, it's ich." He couldn't do it. Then he'd say ish, which is spelled I-S-C-H, I guess, and she wouldn't have that either. And he, being a tough guy, finally used uncouth language with her to tell her that he was not going to go any further with this. Now, I watched that over and over and over again. It is very hard for everybody because they're unvoiced, but secondly, if you don't come to them by birthright, they are hard to sound. Now, should you get a complex? No. But find compromises that your German friends, colleagues, coaches, conductors can live with.
Okay.
I actually don't know what else to do. But if you can practice at least so you know between you and your mirror that you are capable of saying ich kenne.
Ich kenne.
Pretty good. Get that S out of there. Ich.
Ich kenne.
Okay, you're going to work on that.
Yes.
All right. The more you work on it in natural, somehow some of it by osmosis will work its way into the rest of your presentation. Can you say Strophe for me?
Strophe.
Yeah, I want a really closed O. Strophe.
Strophe.
Yeah, but long. Strophe.
Strophe.
Yeah. St.
Strophe.
Okay, you got to get all in the S, and you got to get an H, a T, and an R.
Strophe.
That's right. Okay, walk around your house and say that word, Strophe. Okay, while you're, I don't know, cleaning your dishes or washing up. Well,
I'll do it too.
do it.
My roommate's
Okay,
gonna be mad.
you got to say auch. Okay, auch.
Auch.
Same problem. Not hard as ich, but auch. Auch. Yeah. Okay. Trüb has a P on it, right? I mean, it's a B, but it's a P.
Trüb.
No, there's not an umlaut on that. Or am I wrong? No umlauts?
No, there is
There's a trüb.
Trüb.
Yes. Practice your umlauts. All right. By the way, when you sing Neig dein Blasgesicht, there are lines on those eighth notes. So give them each weight. Blasgesicht. So as opposed to Neig dein Blasgesicht, Blasgesicht, as if you have to labor a little bit over it.
Okay.
All right. Trennt uns nicht.
Trennt uns nicht.
Uns.
Uns nicht.
Yeah, now, okay, the NS is also a challenge. Uns. Okay, that goes on your list of things to walk around the house with, right? Nicht Von mir gehen. As you go up, von mir gehen. Von mir gehen. So there's a line, and at the same time, it's as if you had a little extra weight that you had to pull along with you. Not vocal weight, but just, musical weight. I would like to hear, if you'd start right in the middle, Kseniia, not auch Sorge trüb. It's at the top of page 245. And what I want to hear is if you can really float that high B flat. Okay? All right? Think orchestra. That was very good. Don't look at me because you're worried about me. I'm not important. Go into your spiritual space and see just where you can go. Just right on that, Nike. Like 2 even notes. Okay? The high note is beautiful. Go for it. Forget about me.
Okay.
I want to feel, that's what I want to feel. It's not vocal. It's all up here. Blaske, yeah, blaske. I'll pick on you. I want 2 even eighth notes. Blaske.
Okay.
So I'm playing a violin.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, Brittany, you're going to be a star. Very good. Good. Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you, Kseniia. Okay, so Brian and Lucas, come on out. If you're there. There you are. Okay. Hi, Brian. Okay, I'm keeping my distance over here because of COVID, but lovely to see you. I want you to sing Recondita, armonia.
First.
Is that a problem?
No, not at all.
Guess what? If you plan to sing Tosca, you've got about a minute and a half to warm up for Recondita, armonia.
Yeah, let's
so it's
do
good
it.
practice.
Okay.
Yeah.
suo mistero, le diverse bellezze insiem confonde, mare ritor costei, il mio solo pensiero, il mio sol pensiero sei tu, Tosca, sei tu.
Okay, bravo. Very good. I'll bet you like to sing it, do you?
I love to sing.
You like to play it? Do you like playing it? Yes. Good. I like listening to you. Okay, you have a great voice. There goes my microphone. Let's see, make sure we know. Okay, all right. Now we're going to go back to the beginning. Now, so I fully approve of you singing this aria.
Thank you.
I don't yet approve of you singing the opera. Is that okay? You're a little young.
Perfectly fine.
Right, and so I'm not. I would not want to see you have to fight with the orchestra and the length of this opera and all the demands of that. But it's good to start, and this is a good thing for you to sing.
Yeah.
So
And I feel like I should preface this. This is a year and a half into my transition to tenor. So I agree that I would not want to sing the opera yet, but I love singing the aria.
very good. Okay, so we're agreed about that, and I'm glad you were a baritone. I guess you were a baritone,
Yeah.
if not a bass, and because it's always. I mean, there are many great tenors who started as baritones, and it's good because there's some weight in the voice, and that you're pulling off from there. Okay, so I don't know, Lucas, if you heard what I said to Kseniia while she was out here, but I said, when you're playing orchestral or operatic literature at the piano, I want you to make the piano sound like an orchestra. So as you practice it, certainly you should be listening to, go on YouTube, thousands of recordings, listen to the orchestra, listen to the orchestra, listen to the orchestra, so that you can reproduce the orchestra on the piano. That's what we need in as a conductor who rehearses a lot of opera. That's what I want and expect. And you're also helping your singer more, because that's going to give them an idea of what they're going to be dealing with. So I'm not saying you're not doing that, but I want you to, that's your ideal, keep going in that direction. Now, I'm going to start with you because you have the introduction. This is an incredible introduction. I mean, you could almost literally seeing Cavaradossi mix the paints, and that the meshing of those chromatic lines it's mixing blues and reds and yellows, and so we want it to feel like paints are being mixed. And then probably that's the chromatic scale that goes up, and then there's body, that's probably painting. Is painting, and then he mixes again, and then he paints again, and then he can't help himself from reflecting. He's more intelligent than most tenors. I mean, he actually thinks about things, so he makes a reflection. All right. So, can you give me a little bit of that, and then I'll stop you because I want to get right on to. No, I want magic. Dammi colore. Yeah, magic. Do you like Debussy by any chance? Sorry? Do you like Debussy? Chromatics again. That's good. Okay, you got it. You know where to go with this, all right? When you play the chromatics, play them as if there were actually quarter tones in between them. If you could, we can't, but just that's the amount of connection I want. All right, you're ready to start.
Let's do it.
I'm not a big fan of a big portamento. Okay. Recondita armonia. Right into it. Right, it's correct. If you could give me the sense that there are actually two ahs there. Recondita, armonia.
Okay.
Now, you're not going to really do that, but I want your consciousness, which will help me make my consciousness. Okay. Very good. Now, if you look carefully, you don't have to look, I'll tell you. Recondita armonia is a perfect legato. Then I have di bellezze diverse, I have a legato, and I have dashes on the eighth note, which is the same thing I just said to Brittany. It needs a little weight. Can you hear that, Brittany? Di bellezze diverse. Give me the difference. Okay, very good. Now, Bruna, that has to have more love. This is one of the most sensual operas. This is one of the most sensual couples in one of the most consistently erotic, sensual composers. Okay, you're not singing Bach here. So we want to, and it's Roman, and it's summer. And I want to feel, Bruna, she's dark-haired. L'ardente amante mio. I want to feel not just that you're in love, but that you are sensually in love. Okay? Bruna. Okay, make a little bit more of the R, just a touch, l'ardente, l'ardente, and sing your N, l'ardente. It's ardent, what a great word, l'ardente amante mio. No, it's too direct, the D, l'ardente, make it come out of the R. Okay, and sing the N, l'ardente. Look how long I can, l'ardente, look how long I can hold it. I want you to never pass that up without acknowledging it. Okay? Yes, you did it. Now, what happened to my RD? L'ardente, l'ardente. Mia. Now, in that part, it's a tempo. Why? Because the conductor has to conduct in tempo, because the sacristan sings.
Right.
So, l'ardente amante, 1, 2, 3, 4. Got it? All right. L'ardente. Then I'll stop torturing you with this.
L'ardente amante mia.
Now, together with the conductor, breathe. I don't understand. What's the top word on the top?
Te.
Thank you. You are required to pronounce above the staff. We'll give you certain dispensation now and again, but you got eate, eate, eate. Yeah. Okay, for me, it's a touch fast. That being said, I understand why. I'm not bragging, but because I have had a long life, and I think I've conducted this opera more than any other opera. But I did have a period in my life where I sang with Luciano Placido and Jose Carreras all in 1 year, and I must have done several runs of it with Luciano, maybe 20 times. I learned everything. I mean, to watch him, and I recommend all of you, baritones, basses, sopranos, mezzo-sopranos, watch him, because he was a walking lesson in vocality and in diction. But he liked to go faster, and there was a reason. He was always concerned about his breath. And as he got older, he got more concerned about his breath. But you're too young for that. So I want you to... I want you there, stretching. Yeah. Yes, hear the difference? Very good. Lucas, stretch those 16th notes on the bottom there. Don't push them. Don't push them. Don't help him out. In this case, you should help. We're there to help. You're there to help. I'm there to help. But in this case, I want to feel the same sensuality in that he's. That's good. Already getting there. Can you hear the difference? Yeah. Okay. Do it again. This is good. This is an ABA song, right? We got first part, second part, first part. We're going to come back to the first part. Tosca all'occhio nero. It's not about the painting. It's really about Tosca. You're just making contrast. You've got blue eyes. She's got dark eyes. Okay? But when you get to Tosca, Tosca all'occhio nero. My Tosca. I want to feel it. And then don't go back in your voice. Nero. Tosca all'occhio nero. Finish. Lascia stare i santi.
L'arte nel suo mistero, le diverse bellezze insiem confonde.
Very good. I'm going to just point this out because it's... as I said, he is more capable of philosophy than most tenors, and he's going to philosophize in his aria a little bit in the last line. L'arte nel suo mistero, le diverse bellezze. He thinks about art. I mean, after all, he's at least an amateur artist. And, you know, there's an interesting story that Verdi considered putting Tosca to music before he died. And he was going to make a very philosophic reflection, probably in the third act, had there ever been one, which you can imagine of, you know, already the 80-year-old Verdi would, you know, written everything, including Falstaff and Otello, what he would have done. Puccini goes, you know, his default position is immediately toward you know, ardent expression and desperate eroticism. But this guy thinks a little bit more than that. So he wants to say something about art. So it has to be slightly different from your talking to Tosca. L'arte nel suo misterio, le diverse bellezze siem confonde. Ma nel ritrar costei, il mio solo pensiero. In other words, I'm going to think about art, but I can't help myself. It's Tosca. All right? All right, show me something. And Lucas, don't forget that first note there on the top is a triplet, not an eighth note, okay? Thanks.
L'arte nel suo mistero, le diverse bellezze insiem confonde.
Now, you may never hear this again from a conductor, but here you can hold your notes longer. I'm usually saying the opposite. Come on. Let's go. Il mio sol pensier, say to get yourself a good breath, support from the bottom, and then hold your B flat. A little bit. Ta, and then show me down. As a conductor, I'm holding it. If I'm good and I want to be with you, I need help getting down to Tosca just a little bit so that I can place the downbeat, and then you sing with the conductor on the downbeat. But you can stretch.
Okay.
All right? Il mio solo pensiero. Don't rush. Can we do them?
Il mio solo pensiero, il mio solo
Long.
il mio solo pensiero sei tu.
That was beautiful. You gave me a hint when you were going to come down.
Yeah.
That was great. But then you got to go with me. I say, you give me the indication, and then you land with me. All right, one more. Now, I want you to support down here. Don't save on the D to give more on the B flat. Work here, and then don't give more. It's more already because it's a B flat. Okay?
Okay.
You did my right. Okay, now that's too long, but that's okay. You did. All right, just now let's put it in good taste now.
Okay.
Tosca. And finish. Say to. Yeah, no more Mr. Nice Guy on the last two notes.
Yeah,
All right, you have
absolutely.
to finish full. Okay? All right. This is good. This is beautiful. Don't sing the opera, but sing the aria.
Thank
All
you.
right.
Thank you.
Nipoi krasavitsa. Is that right?
Yes.
Lucas. Okay, now you're playing a piano piece, right? No orchestra. Get into those chromatic. Make each one of them count. Okay. Rachmaninoff is, always super expressive. Always, very often nostalgic, melancholy. I think melancholy is the word that comes. I want to feel melancholy. And don't throw away the bottom of the left hand as if it was just filler. I want everything soaked in melancholy. Okay. That's great. Can you show me more of the chromatic thirds that are going down in the middle? Okay. That he inherited that by birthright from Rimsky and Borodin. That inner chromatic is very, very important. In fact, everything's important. Is it? because of time.
Yeah.
Because some of this is going to repeat itself.
Please.
Okay. What a song. Yeah. So I'm not Russian speaking, but I've studied it. And I'm ashamed at my age that I still can't speak it better. But again, it's the same thing. Do you speak Russian?
Just from diction coaches.
Diction coaches. Yeah. All right. Study. It's worth it. It is the most beautiful language. I think it's the most beautiful language in the world, and you'll never exhaust it. So work as much with Russian coaches and Russians as you can. I just listen, because the grammar is formidable, and that's where I fall down terribly. But you can learn to sing it, anyway. Now, I'm going to give you start for me again, and I'm going to give you a few tips, okay? Just the bar before is fine, Lucas. Okay, so the first thing I want to say is this word comes up and came up several times in this mne. M-N-E, basically. Now, it's hard to sing M-N, but you can. So what I want you to do is to practice singing nye. Say nye. Nye, with just N-E. Nye. Everybody say it. Really feel the N. Okay, now, get ready to say nye. Put your mouth in a position to say M, and say nye. Try it again. Remember, you're going to say nye, but your mouth is pre-positioned for the M. Okay, now, it's an exercise, right? Nye, nye. I am thinking I'm going to say nye, but my mouth wants to say nye. Say nye. Say nye. Now say nye, but put your mouth in the M position. Okay, that's it. It's harder than you think, and because you can hear it enough to yourself. If I say nye, I can hear it through my bone here. But I want to be sure everybody understands that word, and it's coming up a lot. All right. Now, when you say nepoi, go nepoi. Go right to the word. Don't sing. It's a command. So nepoi and krasavitsa is whoever this beloved beauty is that we don't see. Sing to her. All right? Okay. Right on. Yeah, stay focused. Nepoi krasa sofavi. I want that in tune. Very good. Nye was great. Made a difference. You may not realize it, but it did.
It came out.
All right, now I want all the R's in the same position. Krasavitsa. Krasavitsa.
Krasavitsa.
That's it. Don't change the position. All right, now gru-zi-e. There are two E's. Gru-zi-e. Okay? It's a Georgian. Right? So we have to understand that. Gru-zi-e. So we don't want to hear gru-zi. Gru-zi. Say the word.
Gruzi.
Clearer E-E.
Gruzi.
Okay, that's exaggerated. Now just think. Gruzi.
Gruzi.
Okay, sing that. You got another part. Mnie. Ayut mnie. Yep. Maybe somebody can correct me from the audience, but Dal, is it not dal ni?
I had
Anybody know? Dal ni, not nai. It's spelled. Check that out, because for me it's an E with an I kratka afterwards.
Okay.
But anyway. Okay, другую жизнь.
Другую жизнь и берег дальний.
Okay, go ahead. All right, next, uvi.
Уви, напоминают мне.
Another mnye.
Another mnye.
Right, now uvi is a nice old way of saying alas, alack. Uvi, uvi, uvi. Make it register.
Уви,
Yeah, they're throwing it away too much. Uvi. Think of ahimè in Italian. Ahimè, all right? Hélas in French. Uvi.
уви,
Make it more about the vowel. Uvi, u.
уви,
That's about the V. I want it about the vowels. Uvi.
уви.
Yes.
Напоминают мне твои жестокие нагревы и степь, и ночь, и привание черты далекой бедной девы.
Okay, two suggestions. One is the musical one. When you go to the tenuto, think, you have to decide if is it the one note or is it the whole phrase. My instinct is to make it a little bit the phrase. So we're not making a fermata, dalye, but dalye koya. That's my instinct, okay? There's one other thing I wanted to say. Just like you. Oh, yeah, you should work with whomever your coaches are on the soft endings. Notch, Giesen. They have to be worked on. Okay?
Okay.
All right, go ahead to the next phrase. Я призрак.
Я призрак, милый роковой, тебя увидеть забиваю, но ты поешь, и предо мной его я вновь воображаю.
Okay, so when we get to the A, I don't want you to think big. I just want you to sing it.
Okay.
Support the whole way. Don't push. Well, you're not pushing particularly, but don't make it bigger. Okay, it's big enough. Never push. It does not make your voices bigger. It just makes them less attractive. Okay? And it tires you out. And it's going to shorten your life. It's going to shorten your singing life. So.
Lucas, you want to just start from Noki Bayosh?
Okay, that's very good. You did well. And now give yourself at least the time to reset, making sure that you've kept your support. So it's just open. Stay there. Don't drop your support in between. Right? Okay. All right, you did. Let's sing the last phrase of the song for me. That's what I want to see.
Let's say that one more time.
Pianissimo. Okay, so all right. Now I don't know your voice, so I don't know what's what. So that's a sort of a mixed there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
More so on falsetto.
Sorry.
More so falsetto that time.
Yeah. Show me what you can do without a falsetto.
Okay.
Less mixed, in other words. Okay, good. So I'm not sure what I'm not sure what I would choose of those. But as you're in process of becoming a tenor, or you are a tenor, but it's still young, you'll work that out. Here are my general recommendations about singing pianissimo. And they're applicable to everybody, but they're especially applicable to men and tenors. It's when you sing sottovoce, when you sing pianissimo, two things to avoid. One is going back in the throat, which will, yes, diminish the volume for the audience, but it usually distorts the sound, distorts the support, and is not as attractive. Okay? So if you get a conductor who wants decibels, good luck. All right? The decibels don't interest me. The quality of the sound interests me. So one thing to avoid, don't go back in the throat to hide the sound. And the other is going off the voice and not supporting. So I think your goal should be to be able to support in all volumes, in all dynamics, and to be able to support your pianissimi. Okay? You're doing beautifully. Thank you. Thank you to both of you. Okay, so here's Ganson and Kunai. Or is that Kunal? Kunal. Hi, Kunal. It is? Yes, yes, it is. Hi, Brandon. As I said, hi, Brandon. Thank you. Come on in. Okay, you're going to sing The Lynching by Robert Owens.
Yes.
Right? Okay.
Perchance the one that ever guided him at last to fate while the whim unpitifully the swinging time. And soon the mixed crowds came to view. The ghastly body swaying in the sun, in the sun. The women thronged to look. But never a one saw sorrow in her eyes of steely blue, and little lads, lynchers that were to be, danced down the dreadful thing in fiendish glee.
Brandon, thank you for, first of all, introducing this to me. I never heard it. It's a powerful song. I don't need to underline that. It's great. And your presentation, both of you, excellent. And thank you for that. I wish I had something more intelligent to say than that, because I'm experiencing it for the first time. I just want to ask you, you think you're a baritone?
Yeah, I recently transitioned from bass baritone up to baritone. So still.
Okay. So do you know if this song exists in a higher key? Do you have that option?
I'm not sure. I haven't seen it in a higher key.
Yeah.
But
you might consider it.
Yeah.
Because you know, it's down there in the basement a lot, and you might have more space to do more and just be a little more comfortable.
Yeah.
If it were slightly higher. I'd only emphasize to don't forget your consonants, particularly at the end of words, okay? Because they're important. You hear them yourself.
yeah.
But we want to be sure, we want to make it really explain. The text is so important here. And you say your name Kunal?
Yes.
Okay, Kunal, I'd like to feel the cruelty of the lynching in the, and I'm listening to this first time, right? So I really don't know anything. But I'd like to feel the cruelty of the lynching in that opening figure.
Sure.
Yeah, and make it very, very dramatic. Sure. You know that you are an equal participant. Be that from the beginning. Yeah. Okay. I wish I could say more, but it's very, very, very good and very moving, and thank you for bringing it to my attention. And you have Mahler.
Yes.
Okay.
Ich atmet einen,
Okay, super beautiful song. Again, you might consider slightly higher key for the moment. It makes it. This is a song that floats, and actually, in its simplicity, has its challenges.
Yeah.
All right. So start up again, and I'm going to address some of those things. All right. Okay, so now you want to get yourself, your support has to be there from the beginning, and that's also partially spiritual. Brittany, we talked about the end, but it's also true of the beginning. Get yourself into the spiritual space before the piano starts, so you're already there. And it also helps, they help each other.
Yeah.
Your consciousness of your support and your spiritual space at the same time gets you ready to go. That's going to help you get through linden without being on the edge of your voice.
Yeah.
Okay, pianissimo, yes, but dynamics are not decibels. Dynamics are feelings. So I don't want you to be in the crack there. Yeah. Get yourself ready, and together. Yeah, much improved. How do you feel?
Better.
Better. Okay, you were ready. Now, by the way, I wouldn't emphasize there is a line, a legato between atmet and ein, but I'm not sure that means that you're meant to elide. It just may simply be the convention of putting more than one syllable, putting one syllable under more than one note. Think of it as ich atmet. I have a terrible voice, I can't sing. But I'm not thinking atmet. I'm thinking ich atmet einen linden. Ich atmet. Try that, right on it. Yeah.
Ich atmet einen linden.
Excellent. I didn't give you time to prepare, so the end was better before. But that's good. Now, remember, it's going to start. This is it's it's poetry. He's looking at this little thing, or he looking at this little thing, and anybody else sees this little thing, and he sees love in the universe, and that's the beauty of poetry. That's the beauty of music. So but it starts simply. If it doesn't start simply, it's belabored. Ich atmet einen linden. And the rest of the song is about, and then, like Cavaradossi, the genius tenor, reflecting. What is it? Okay?
Yeah.
Show me that. See if you can start to show me that with simplicity at the beginning.
Okay.
Yeah, very good. I'd like Kunal just that much slower. Not that it's a slower tempo, but that I'm feeling each eighth note with love. Okay, just you can start the second phrase there. I don't want a good stand. Brittany? Stand, right?
Yeah.
Everybody say it. Okay, there's an H in English and a T. Stand. Yes, okay. Im Zimmer. Okay, it's on the edge. It's on the edge of American stand.
More. Okay.
Let me hear it. Shh.
Stand.
Let me hear shh. Practice very long to yourselves while you walk around the house. Shh. And when you do that, then you put the T in. Stand.
Stand.
Okay. Yeah, there's a T at the end of Zimmer, isn't there? Zimmer. Zwei. Every Z is TZ. Ein. Okay, so there's an important message to us here. Over the words wie lieblich, there is an accent on V, and then there's a diminuendo. So it's clear that that's the most intense part of this whole thing. And when you say wie lieblich, is how lovely was that? That's what it's all about. I mean, obviously somebody gave you that, or maybe I don't know. It's a gift, but it's about the person behind it.
Yeah.
Wie lieblich, and that's reflective. Wow, how lovely. So you say, okay, I have this thing. It smells nice. Beautiful. It was given to me by a loving hand. So that's where all the meaning is.
Yeah.
We want to feel now. V, I want you to do it in a combination of using your vowel. It's not an accent. We tend to see accents both by our own language as a consonant and then a tack, partially. We're actually taught in school that accents are something hard, and that is an understatement of the incredible variety and richness of the sign of an accent in music. There are literally 100 different accents. So you have to enter into the spirit of the style of the I'm saying basic stuff now, but it's a little bit of a cliche, but enter into the language, enter into the aesthetic of the composer to find what kind of accent it is. It is not the kind of accent that we were taught in music school. Accent. Or accent. In America, we tend to be very hard with our consonants. We tend to be aggressive in many ways in our personal behavior. So we are a difficult race to deal with, or a difficult country to deal with this issue, because we have so much information is a nice word. Baggage is a less nice word that comes with us. So this is a long way of saying, consider the importance of the vowel as opposed to the consonant. Now, actually, German is another language that does have harder consonants. But in a case like this, wie lieblich war, and it's the same as the accent insistance of the French. Wie lieblich. Just it takes a little more time. So then we call it agargisch. It's agargisch. It's about the time it takes to say wie lieblich, and then you have to be ready to give that, look, we're talking about infinitesimal, right? But wie lieblich is so much more than wie lieblich is, right? Okay, see if you can give me a good example of that. Already much better. Now give me more vowel. V. And almost I want you, let's feel your in, well, as you inhale. V. It's almost as if there was a V.
Yeah.
Okay? Yes, good. Good. And it goes in and it flows into the second verse. Okay, so I think partially because of the register, you're a little short at the end. I want do, hold it long, and give me a good t at the end. Wie lieblich ist. Yeah? One, two, three, four, five. Good. You did it. Now, yeah. And stay in your spiritual place when you're finished. Duft. And however you feel about the note, act as if you just revealed the wonder, the eighth wonder of the world to the audience. They may believe you. Okay. Now, and I'll tell you, this is a trick I tell every masterclass. I'm sorry, and I give it in every coaching because it made such an impression on me as a teenager. I grew up in New York, and I was lucky enough to hear 2 Lieder recitals in my very formative years, sung by Sir Peter Payers and Benjamin Britten. Unforgettable. Winterreise, complete, Dichterliebe, and Britten songs in the second one. And what I was not prepared to realize that Benjamin Britten, aside from being one of the greatest composers on the earth, was one of the most exquisite pianists ever to roam the earth. And funny, he called it a percussive instrument and said he hated it, but he played it like a god. But what I want to tell you about is Peter Pears. Now, I only knew Peter Pears a little bit through some recordings, and I thought to myself, with my adolescent omniscience, what a funny voice, what a strange voice. I don't like this voice. He does all sorts of funny things. But nevertheless, of course, I was curious to go to the concert, and I did. I came out of those concerts, and I remember them to this day, and I still get goosebumps as I tell you about this. I understood the extraordinary artist that Peter Pears was, and his incredible musicianship, delivery, and presence, which was, most of it was what Brittany, you and I were talking about. I mean, the spirit before he sang, after he sang, during his sang. One trick, it took me half a Winterreise to figure it out. He could make a diminuendo down to a pianissimo that was almost inaudible in a small hall. It was Hunter College. It wasn't a big hall. Hunter College. I said, how is he doing that? How is he doing that? And then I finally figured out, he'd get to the end of a word, like Duft, and he'd stop singing. And he'd go, do. And I said, wow, that's cheating, but is it good? You know? Now, is a little harder than t. I mean, let's say you have a word that ends with a D or T. He would finish D, let's say, lint, right? Lin. And half an hour later, the T came out. Not that you should do it, but I want you to have that in your vocabulary, because it's very, 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 very useful. And if you do it well, and with art, you can make a great effect. I mentioned it here. This is not the best word to demonstrate it, but because it's important, take it for whatever it's worth. I can still remember it, and I hate to tell you how many years ago that was. All right? Okay, just finish up, and we'll... Actually, I want... go ahead to... Ich atmet leis, where the modulation is. At the top of the page. Third bar. Top of the page. Yeah, so that E natural has to hurt more. That Mahler is a master of pulling you, and at the end of the bar, I say this quite often in the symphonies to orchestras, there's more space between the last note of the bar and the downbeat of the next bar than you think. Just that much makes a big difference. Wait, make me wait for it.
Okay.
Yes, good. You like it? No. And now, in between Linda, you're thinking, what is it that I have gently breathed? Der liebe Linden. Yeah. Make the connection. Spiritual, spiritual, spiritual. Spirit, go into your spirit, stay there. Now, and this is the other kind. Crescendo to subito piano. Fundamental to Mahler's song. It's the same thing. It's a longer note before you change and give us that feeling. Just that last Der Liebe. Burnley. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. The more you stretch me, the better I'm going to feel afterwards. It's going to hurt right at that moment, but it's going to be a nice feeling. Yeah. All right. Super good. That was fabulous, okay? All right, I want to hear you up there someday. Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Okay, let me not get the name wrong. Okay, Kunal, you're staying with us. This is Ganson, right? As I was saying, here's Ganson. Hi, Ganson. Come on in. Okay, nice to see you. I'm staying over here as a COVID precaution, and great to see you, and I want you to sing Chilea. All right. Okay, Kunal, stop. I want an orchestra, not a piano. This is not Debussy. Infected by Debussy, perhaps, but these are muted violins. Right? Yeah, sorry, strict. Okay. Because we're going to that's going to put the retards and the rubados into greater relief. And a touch slower, just a touch. Now crescendo. Yes. Now the rit. Da, pi, ba, pi, ba.
E la solita storia del pastore. Il povero ragazzo voleva raccontarla e s'addormì. C'è nel sonno l'oblio, come l'invidia. Anch'io vorrei dormir così, nel sonno almen l'oblio trovar, la pace sol cercando io vorrei poter tutto scordare. Mi sforzo e vado davanti io sempre di lei. Il dolce sembiante. La pace tolta e solo me perché io tanto pena. Lei, sempre lei mi parla al cuore, fatale visione mi lascia. Mi fai tanto male,
Okay, very good. Bravo. Okay, now I'm going to say the same thing I said to your colleague earlier. This is not repertory yet for you in the terms that you can't sing the opera.
Sure.
You got that?
Got it.
Is that clear? Good. You can, but it's not a good idea.
Sure.
All right. So we're dealing with the song now as a song, which is fine, but I want you to give it and this type of repertory time.
Okay.
All right. So now it's a little bit of a recitative at the beginning. I'm going to say again. We're back to the orchestra again. Look at the first sostenuto, where the 4/4 starts, where the common time starts. Before anch'io vorrei, right? I want you to hold that chord. That chord is in the horns. And I want to feel the horns, and I want to feel something in that chord after you're done playing. The ending of it's surprising. And then I want you to fill up the rest of the, even though you're not going to necessarily sustain or play, I want you to fill up the rest of the, literally the rests in the remainder of the bar. It stops to dry. And then anch'io vorrei dormire. Always start on time in the right place. Then the rubato. So that we don't get this, otherwise it gets choppy. Anch'io vorrei dormir così nel sonno. Anch'io vorrei dormir così. Right away. Nel sonno almen l'oblio trovar. Okay. Now, we talked about singing piano and pianissimo and not singing in the back of the throat and not reducing, not cutting off your support, not strangulating yourself and the voice. You have to do this. I don't care about decibels, I care about the quality of the sound. So I'm going to have you sing piano, but I want to see the piano in healthy, well-placed, focused, up here, just where everything else should be. There should be, in theory, no essential difference between where you are placing forte and piano. Your vowels are in the same place. Your support is in the same place. If you move your voice around like a mechanism, as it were, for every dynamic, it's like you and I would pick up the piano, play a scale by putting my finger down, let's say on a C natural, then standing up, moving the piano, then playing the D because it's now in the middle, and now moving it again and going to the E. That's what you're doing when you move your mechanism around. Your mechanism is your structure. The piano is a structure. You move your hands on the piano. You move your fingers and a bow on a violin. You don't reconstruct the violin every time you have a change in register. Now, that's one of the great goals for you, and great goal absolutely of bel canto singing is that you can sing mellifluously in all registers with not just with a legato of your vowels, that your vowels are always connected because they're in the same place. Long story. You'll spend your lives doing it, but that's the goal. So those are a few things. Now, so when you get l'oblio trovar, I don't want you to go back in your part. Now, if you're going to sing vorrei poter tutto, don't start forte and then sing pianissimo. Sing what the man wrote. Vorrei poter. Try that, okay? So at the bottom of the page now, this is for the piano, it says poco più. Be clear in your mind that is poco più mosso. The mosso is missing in this score. Okay, now the second time it's written, by the fact it's written, I mean, I have the orchestra score in front of me, here. It's written for, in fact, I even start accelerating in the previous bar so that the connection of that D sharp from him makes a beautiful chromatic to the D natural, okay? You sing ma ogni sforzo, and there's also pur, just be aware of that. There are two versions of that. What else do I want to say? Yeah, il dolce sembiante. I want it in the same position, and we're going to do that in a minute. Perché de Dio. Maximum one note gets to be longer, but the whole phrase has to be stentato. Stentato means to do something with effort. Stentare is to have. I want to feel effortful. Perché de Dio. I want to feel it over the whole phrase. Not over one note. If you elongate one of the notes, va bene, but not any fermata, okay? We're almost there. Start again. Okay, thank you. Right on it there.
Sorry, where?
The beginning, but not, I don't need the introduction, I just need. È la solita storia.
È la solita storia
No, say the line for me.
È la solita storia del pastore.
Say the word solita.
Solita,
Say it for me.
solita,
Okay, now, where's the accent?
solita.
Exactly. How is an accent made in Italian? By elongating the vowel. So even if you see, as you do in this case, you don't have a score necessarily, but you see 3 equal triplet. There is sometimes a natural tension between how a word is pronounced and how a word is notated, particularly in Italian, and particularly recitatives consistently. And I generally, I would say 90% of the time, favor the word over the academic rhythm that is printed. So if you go to conservatory and somebody says, wait a minute, these are 2 16ths followed by a triplet of 16ths followed by an 8th note, and somebody's there picking at me the way they used to do in solfege class, you may do that correctly, but it isn't music. And more importantly, it's not the text. And number 3, it's not the spirit. Now remember that most composers, if they are writing in their own language for other singers who are going to sing in that same language, who are going to sing it for an audience in that same language, it doesn't require the type of spoon feeding exactly what the rhythm is of a word, because everybody just knows it and does it naturally. But we, as Americans who are entering other languages, have to put ourselves into that language, which is why it's important that every text you sing, you start with the text, you recite the text to yourself, you be critical of your own text, or you get someone to be critical of you, of speaking. When you can speak a text, you are also going to be much more equipped to sing it. You can get away with a lot of things singing that you can't get away with speaking. So if you can speak it, you can sing it. Now, so if the word è la solita storia, I want to understand solita. Solita storia. It's longer. It's not harder. È la solita storia del passato. It's the same old story. Same old story. Okay? Okay.
È la solita storia del pastore.
Yeah, I want it dreamy. There's the word sonno is mentioned. He's musing, dreaming. It's about sleep, what appears in sleep. È la solita storia del passato. Papi, papi, papi. Okay.
Il povero ragazzo voleva raccontarla. Essa dormì.
Now stay on the voice. Okay, it's beautiful. It is good, but I want it healthier. Essa dormi. Yeah.
Essa
Sador. Stay a little longer on the D. Sador.
essa dormì.
Okay, so this is my cue to give a 30-second tutorial on double consonants in Italian, which I give every time. So if you've heard it before from me, please forgive me in advance. Okay, so length, not strength, number 1. How you define a double consonant in Italian is how long it is in relation to the vowel or vowels. The ideal, which is why Italian is the singing language, is that vowel. It's a language where vowels are long and they communicate, and that's why, because basically your voice travels on vowels. A consonant is a momentary interruption of a vowel. Okay. So that's why bel canto is going to go in the direction of vowels. Now, when you interrupt, how do you interrupt? That's the issue. You interrupt depending on whether it is a voiced or unvoiced consonant. A voiced consonant, you simply sing the voiced consonant, and it doesn't stop the emission of sound. But the unvoiced consonants, here's one. Addirittura. I stop. Now, here's the best part, I think. The first one, you go to where the D is. Everybody, I want you to say, let's say, adormi. Let's use that. Adormi. One D, please. Okay, everybody. Adormi. Okay, that's not the word. The word is adormi. It's a double D. Now, what do? I go forward, and I stop the sound. Let's exaggerate that. Not in terms of volume, not in terms of strength, but just length. Hold it as long as you can. Ad, like that. Here we go. Excellent. Now, adormi. Okay, now, the action of the second D is this. Ad, release back. Ad, dormi. Let's do it. Ad, release back. What again? Ad, dormi. Okay, now, as Americans, what do we tend to do? We tend to push both D's forward. Ador. I'm exaggerating brutally now. Adormi. Adormi. Wrong, wrong, wrong. We don't want to do that. So let's do it now. Get it out of our systems. Push forward and push forward a second time. Adormi. One more time. Adormi. This is what you want to avoid. So whatever language you're coming from, it's adormi. Adormi, okay? Let's try another one. Do B. Abbia. Okay, the word abbia. Abbia. Now do it badly. Abbia. Abbia. Okay, release back. Right. Okay, now you can go through your, also in the privacy of your boudoir, you can go through the entire alphabet of consonants and practice doubles and see which each one of them requires of you. But nothing affects that mechanism. That's universal. So now you're ready to sing Sad Dormi. Okay. Good, okay. In the interest of time, go ahead to Anch'io vorrei, after I've heard the wonderful horn chord on the piano. Okay, so, all right, what I want is the connection. This is musical now. They want the connection. It's start right away. Poppy, 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 dormir così. Here's your chord. Recommended, and I've never seen this otherwise, is the breath. It's in the score. I think it's good. Anch'io vorrei, which requires you to put the E of vorrei sooner, get your catch breath, and go to dormir right away. Okay. Very good. You had the mechanism of catch breaths very well. Now, when you're taking breaths, remember, the 4/4 bar with a breath in the middle of it becomes a 4.5/4 bar. There is more time, or does it? Now, you and your conductor will decide together because if you want and you usually do, have to maintain a tempo, you take the time of the breath away from the preceding note. I have actually somebody seriously tell me that if there was, let's say, imagine a half note and then 2 quarter notes, and there had to be a breath. Somebody seriously tell me that I was cheating the half note by making it shorter than a half note in order to be on time for the 3rd beat of the bar. I said, okay, so if you're going to breathe, where's the breath coming from? Well, you take the time for the breath. I said, yeah, but I want the 4/4 bar in rhythm. I want the 4/4 bar intact. So it's always coming away from the earlier song. So that's what you have to do here. Okay, go ahead, next one. La pace sol. What was that word? La pace what?
I said the wrong word because the next time it's tolta. I said tol instead of sol.
Okay. Just to make sure I'm awake. Yeah. Okay. Okay, now the odd temp, we have to be clear about the odd temp. Try to work in your rolled on. Walk around. When I was in Juilliard, it was the first year of the drama department, which became famous people. You know, people like Patti LuPone and Robin Williams, and walking around the halls. You know, and we were all just, you know, young kids together. But they would go, and we said, hey, they think they're the only ones in this hallway. I mean, they went around like that. Practicing that. Good practice. Double R, until you can roll it for a half an hour. Vorrei poter. Now, poter tutto. I want a tempo. Okay.
La pace sol, cercando io vorrei poter tutto.
And now here I recommend accelerates and stay in the piumoso and davanti. Now he's written it in a strange way. Say the word.
Davanti.
Say it. Yeah, but he's written davanti. Okay, so it means he wants a special expression. A heartbeat on that. And you must sing the end long. Say davanti.
Davanti.
I heard davanti, didn't I? Davanti. Say it.
Davanti.
Okay, now, that's exaggerated, but we want to davanti, davanti. It's basically the end. That's the crux of the expression. Okay, do the me, davanti. Yes. That D sharp has to be very high. Yeah. Minor second, I mean, very high. Il dolce.
Il dolce sembiante.
Almost happy, and we're going to let you go. Sembiante. Went forward. Did you hear it? Sembiante. Okay.
Il dolce sembiante.
Better. You'll work on it. Yeah. That's a hard, of course, it's right in the middle of the passaggio. It doesn't simplify matters. Okay, I wish I could keep going with you. I wish I could hear more stuff. But time is pressing, and thank you very much, and congratulations. Thank you to both of you. Okay, so it's Magdalena and Javier. Hi, Magdalena. I stay here because of COVID. I won't come near you. Hi, Javier. Okay, so we have a choice between Strauss and Grieg, and the rumor has it that the Grieg is very beautiful.
Okay, so we can start with that, Becky, maybe?
Yeah, but I'm going to have a lot more to say about Rosenkavalier, I suspect.
Yes.
So what do you say? Can we start with Rosenkavalier?
Sure.
Okay, let's do that. Beautiful, wonderful, wonderful to both. Javier, I don't have to tell you how to sound like an orchestra. You know, amongst your many other incredible gifts, you know how to do this. Very beautiful. You're German speaking, aren't you?
No.
No? Well, you.
Polish.
Okay, but you do speak German?
No.
Boy, you're good. You're a good faker. You have a very good grasp of the language. So I'll say some things, but it's already starting on a pretty high. You may not know you have a high level, but you do. Okay, so that's good. Now, first of all, this is for anybody who might ever have to sing this. This is like walking on a tightrope. And if it's not just like if your voice isn't just like there are voices that are made for Sophie. And they're made for a certain number of years, some of them, and then it's not any longer. But this is like a tightrope, and you walk right into it beautifully. So I could hire you as Sophie right now. I want to get a little bit longer line.
Okay, yeah.
What do I mean by that? The phrases are singular and detached, but there's an inner line to the whole thing. It is a presentation, as the title suggests, but it is still a sentence, and it's still a paragraph. So I want to get a little more feeling of paragraph in there so that there's more connection, so that you don't sing each phrase as a thing in itself, then think, and then go on to the next phrase. So let's see if we can get some of that connection. And of course, your spiritual presence, again, before you start, this is super important. Not so, I mean, if you're going to do a concert like this, yes, it is, because you're creating the atmosphere. If you're at the opera, I mean, you're in this opulent second act, and you're there already, and it's already magic. And then the orchestra starts, and it's magic before you start. But you participate in that magic, but not self-consciously. You as a character are not conscious of your magic. The magic that's going to happen, actually, is it's going to be the start of the story with Octavian. But he doesn't know that. You don't know that. We don't know that. We might be able to intuit that, maybe, from what's going on. But we're also, I mean, if you walk in and out of Rosenkavalier and you don't feel magic at this moment, something's wrong with you or the performance. Okay? So the trick for you as a character is not to feel the magic, but to express it naively, in the sense that you do your thing. You're a young, very young woman, inexperienced, you're right out of the convent. You've told us the story. You just get up there and you do this, and the rest of us are like this. Okay, see if you can capture some of that. So just a bar or two, Javier. Okay, so what I'd like to do, actually, Javier, I'd like to be just slightly faster in a fanfare or martial type of rhythm. And you find your way around that. So if I'll conduct the bar before with the 3 and 4 and 1. Right, so we want to avoid the sehr verbunden. I exaggerate, but we don't know scooping. Scooping belongs to us in America. We should leave it here in American music. Sehr verbunden, okay? Very good. And right in tempo. 1, 2, and 3. Ich bin. Again, that's right. So I want you to speak. Ewigkeit verbunden. Say that for me.
Ewigkeit verbunden.
Say it for me.
Ewigkeit verbunden.
It's one thought, 2 words. Ewigkeit, verbunden. Now, all together, Ewigkeit verbunden.
Ewigkeit verbunden.
Okay. Let's hear Ich bin. Yeah.
Second one or the first?
Second one. Second one.
Ich bin, wo ihr lebten, in einer Ewigkeit verbunden.
Okay, so let's move to the next one now.
Hat einen starken
Okay, so give me an upbeat. Hat einen starken. Without hesitating, hat einen starken. Yeah. I know it's the register, but we don't want to emphasize the word hat. It's not important. What it's about, it's about the starken Geruch. Hat einen starken. Ja. Good. Just a little tip, particularly if you're a soprano or tenor and you have to sing in the lower register. Join nature, don't fight against it. Okay, so it's down here. Don't push. Don't work against it. Incorporate it into the phrase so that you don't have to expend energy or either mental energy or physical energy where you're not when you're not in your register. Calls then for clear text and diction. Hat einen stark. I don't expend any that. Hat einen stark. Get to the next part.
Okay.
All right. Yes. Okay, good. Well, I'm beginning to hear that you're not German. So, yes, you have to work on your S's a little bit.
Okay.
All right? Good. I don't know anything about Polish. I'm in awe of any of you that can speak it with all. Well, you have 7 cases, I think. Yeah, well, I don't know anything about it. No, so, okay, go ahead now. This is where you float now.
Yeah.
This is where you go. So let's discuss this one. First, we're going to float, a little bit allargando. If you were in solfege class, I would insist on we're not, and you're in this register where we don't want you to think about that. But I do want you to respect that syncopation. I just want to feel that a little bit. All right? Support the very well, and then don't do anything special on him except sing it.
Okay.
If you're already supported down here, be in the position you want to be in for the high note. I'm recommending that all your vowels be in the same place. But if you have to change, you're changing register, be where you want to be for here. So sing the here, not the, and then something else. Be where you want to go. Okay? Just that bar would be great. Breathe and go. Now, this is just a personal preference. I prefer that bar in tempo.
Okay.
But there's traditions and all sorts of things. But I think because we have so many opportunities to do that, here's one that will be pleasant not to.
Okay.
Paradies. Okay, for Wir Rosen, yeah? Ram. If I were strict, ra ta ta ti ta 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 ti. Let's do it that tempo first, right? Erase everything else you've done. I'm undoing your habits, but body, I want you to be able to do this.
Okay,
I want you to be able to make a version of that, just in case the conductor would prefer that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't swear what is really correct, but my feeling is it benefits. Yeah, remember in a piece that is this magically static like this, you don't want to stop excessively. You don't want to. It gets a little bit tedious, As they say, it's like a dog that has to stop at every tree. It helps not to stop at some trees, so that when you do, it really counts, right? Okay. All right. Okay. So keep going now. Okay. Ist wie ein Gruß, yeah. Okay, so first ist wie ein vom Himmel. Now, crescendo later rather than sooner. Okay, I would say. And then connect the thought. Ist bereits zu stark.
Okay.
Ist wie ein vom Himmel. You're not going to wait a lot. That's okay. All right? And go. Ist bereits zu stark. Very good. Ist bereits zu stark. Say the word for me, stark.
Stark.
Now, you speak it, stark.
Stark.
It's a short vowel. So you don't want to sing stark, right? Okay. Say for me, stark. Say it incorrectly, stark.
Stark.
And know the difference, all right? Now, what is the, this incorporates a contradiction. What do you do when you have a short word in a slow tempo? It's a compromise. So you have to give the impression. Ist bereits zu stark, stark, something that makes us feel that shortness of the word, but we are more or less holding the word. So if you can start right there on ist bereits.
Ist bereits zu stark, als das man sagt,
Good. Okay, remember now, even though there's a comma, which you should observe, and you did, ist bereits zu stark, als das, because it's als refers back. Ist bereits zu stark, als dass man es ertragen kann.
Keep
Yeah,
so
right.
Yeah.
Okay, keep the, ist bereits.
ist bereits zu stark,
Als dass man.
man sagt, tragen kann. Zieht einen
Yeah. Do not neglect your the T. T, Z, every time. Zieht. Zieht, yes. Okay, 32? Yep.
Zieht einen nach, als Gegenstücke.
Just a touch longer the case. Stricke. Not unlike what we do in Italian. Stricke. Okay. Zieht. Zieht.
Zieht einen nach, als Gegenstücke, das Herz
Very good. Now I want to go ahead to Dahin muss ich zurück, at number 33. Okay. Number 33. There's dahin muss ich zurück. Dahin. All right, keep going. This is faster. Più animando. Zurück.
Dahin und müsst ich völlig sterben
Auf dem Weg. 1 and 2. Okay. Sterb. Can I hear it? P. I want to feel that P. Yeah. Okay. Allein. Keep going. Yeah. So from the time you start dahin muss ich zurück, we are in a fließender tempo. Respect that right to the end.
Okay.
Da ist ja weit. Now, ist Zeit. Okay? So just give me the last, das ist ja weit.
Das ist ja weit, ist Zeit und Ewigkeit in einem Seelen.
Very good. I wanted to be sure to get to this phrase. Your intonation is good in this phrase, but I want every song, every note, not to be. I don't want straight tones.
Vibrate, yeah.
Vibrate them all. Somebody else say that?
Yeah.
Who said that?
Rochelle.
Okay. All right. Vibrate them all. All right. Let me hear that. Ist Zeit und Ewigkeit.
Ist Zeit und Ewigkeit in einem
Michelle, did you write emphasis on Dane? You wrote emphasis here. And I was about to get my pencil out and say, emphasize that. No, say, oh, it's written here already. Yeah, yes. Yeah, den will ich denn. Yeah, okay? All right. Go, den will ich nie. Thank you. Yeah. Be sure that that's den, not den. Yeah. You can close it. You can close that A more. Very clear. It's two different words. Den, closed, den with two N's. It's got to be clear. Yeah. On. Vibrate the second note. And let's do it without the portamento down. Meinen Tod. Yep. Bis. And then you evoke the spirit of Sir Peter Pears. And look up into the heavens and bring your spirit with you. I'll have to hear Grieg another time. But I am going to thank you very much, first of all, to both of you. Bravo. And thank you all for coming to them. Now I'm going to hear some of you, all of you, I think, on Saturday before I fly off. So I'm looking forward to that. And I enjoyed being with you today. I wish I could spend more time, but we squeeze it in as we can. So good luck to you, and see you, some of you, hopefully all of you, on the weekend.